From the Ron Miller Race Car Studio, this is the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome, race fans, to the final Hammer Down Racing Report of 2019.
To all of our listeners who were offended by Merry Christmas y'all.
Who was offended?
I hear that there are.
Here we go.
I hear that there are
already
people
making
that
an
are.
addition. Nobody's offended.
Here we go.
Okay.
Ron, did you watch TV yesterday?
Didn't we discuss that already, Chris?
Scott Hammer, Ron Miller, and we got everybody here pretty much from Sandusky Speedway. Most of the champions, Chris Mize, race director as well. Stephen Klinect. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah. Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda, yeah, I guess we'll have to find out about that. We got Colton.
Fowler.
Yes. Brandon Halcomb, Carl Smith, champions 2019. Sandusky Speedway.
And to Barb Ganser, Kathy Miller's off camera tonight, but she's here.
And Colton's grandfather. What was your name?
Roy Nicholson.
There you go. He's the money guy from what I hear. So we'll be talking to all these guys. We'll also be talking to Chris a little bit about the Hangover race coming up here in, what are we, just a little over 2 weeks?
A little less than 2 weeks.
A little less than 2 weeks, yeah.
About 10 days.
Yeah.
Are you ready for it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
45th annual, Scott.
Yeah.
Is it, you know, somebody asked me that the other day, and I don't know, it's in the 40s.
45.
You were there at the first one, right?
It was my idea, dude.
But why isn't it named after you?
No, because some guy beat me on the win so far.
Okay.
So far.
Oh, yeah. How many has he got?
Pardon?
How many is Wild Bill? How many did he have?
He had 17. I'm at 14.
But nobody's keeping track.
He ain't keeping.
But who cares?
Coming at you live from the Ron Miller Race Cars Studios. We're coming at you live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter. Make sure to follow us on our Twitter at Hammer Report and like us on Facebook. I guess you can follow us on YouTube, too. If you want to play along with How Many coming up a little bit later on tonight, you can do that on the comments on our Facebook Live video, either during the show or if you're listening to it after and it's not live, you can play along. And
cool.
This has to do with you tonight.
Really?
We'll talk about that later, though.
Oh, my.
It's a surprise.
Well, his son beat him again.
Okay. Something like that.
I already passed the word. I'm dumping his ass this time.
Are you dumping him?
If you still need to pick up some gifts for Christmas for the racer in your family, this guy over here, Ron Miller, is the guy you need to call. Ron Miller Race Cars, 734-856-7223.
Or stop by 7135 Whiteford Center Road.
Yeah. You got
gift certificates.
That's what I was going to ask. You
Yeah,
still got
absolutely.
Those?
I've still got some.
How late will you be selling those? Right up until Christmas Eve?
Yeah, Christmas Eve, yeah.
Christmas Day? If somebody forgot to get something?
Absolutely.
Stop out on Christmas Day?
Christmas Day would work.
You'd be dressed up as Santa Claus?
Nope.
I would almost pay to see that, though.
So would I.
No,
At the Hangover.
yeah, no Max, huh?
You can't. If somebody puts up sponsorship money for that, would you be wearing a Santa thing at the Hangover race?
How could you do Santa Claus at New Year's? I mean, it just doesn't.
I don't know, because
it doesn't fit, Scott.
But there'll be a lot of people be able to see you. Then there's not going to be a lot of people
Bad
seeing
Santa.
you at your house.
Bad Santa.
Bad Santa.
Hey, Bob Thornton over here.
How about you guys? Who's going to the Hangover race?
I'll be there.
All right.
Cold.
No?
He wanted to race it, and I said, I don't know if we got a car for you to race.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk some racing news real quick. Then we're gonna talk to Stephen Klinect first, and then we'll talk to each of these guys here in the studio as well. Feel free to chime in whenever you want. I know you're very talkative. You had a hard time getting you shut up before we went on the air here. He's looking at me like I'm dead serious.
Scott, I think qualifying is going on at Gateway right now. So if any of our listeners are also watching on TV, keep us updated on our Facebook Live, on our Facebook page.
I think isn't it just the preliminaries for the mods and the midgets today?
Yeah, keep us posted. I know Rusty was 7th out of 87 cars in hot laps. Of course, they, with the transponders, they have all that information. So, He didn't qualify, but he had timed at 7th out of 87.
And he should win because we had him on the show
Absolutely.
last week. So, okay. Well, speaking of some racing, really the only thing we're going to cover this week is the Dryden Extreme the Extreme Dirt Car Series event that was at Livonia Speedway. Did you do stuff? That's in Georgia, right?
Yeah, I was in South Georgia Motorsports Park.
Okay, I have no idea
where they
Livonia is.
Valdosta's down. I don't know where Livonia is.
Valdosta is almost to Florida.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we're about 20 miles from the line. It's a dirt track now.
Okay.
What is that? Every track? Maybe when I leave Sandusky, it'll go
Maybe
dirt too. I don't know.
Don't tell him that. He'll start pushing it.
Oh, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Zach Mitchell set quick time, won his heat race, started on the pole, led all 40 laps to take that Dryden Extreme Dirt Car Series victory this past Sunday afternoon, breaking Chris Madden's win streak, or ending it at 2.
Oh, what is Dryden, Scott?
I didn't look it up. Was
I did. Yep, it's a motor oil and lubricant company.
Huh. Do you sell that at Ron Miller Race Cars?
Until we asked last week, I didn't know what it was, so no.
But you could get it.
Probably.
Okay. Some other racing news. We talked about DGR Crosley switching from Toyota to Ford.
Yeah.
And, of course, it kind of fell into place where
Haley Deegan
is now going to jump from the Toyota racing development to the Ford, and it's going to be running a full ARCA schedule in 2020.
And various other
race
series, too.
Yeah. What did it say? She's got a few truck races she's signed up for right now. And
is she? I know that it said she was interested
actually,
in doing
there's, I think, 2 Busch races.
Xfinity.
Whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
The Busch series would always be to me.
Oh, I just had a flashback into the 90s.
Big fan of hers. I've watched her a little bit.
A lot of people are...
It's hard to take your eyes off of her.
A lot of...
Wait, I'm sorry.
Hey, she's just barely legal, for God's sakes.
But she's legal.
But I've watched a few races.
Doesn't mean an old man can't look, Scott.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Anyway.
Oh, man.
I'm not looking at her.
Let me ask you guys this. How do you feel about her compared to Natalie Decker? Because there was a lot of expectations with Natalie Decker that she's kind of
I think,
flat.
in my opinion, that Natalie Decker doesn't get as much as she should, only because it's not a name. She's building her own name pretty much. Where obviously Hallie Deegan had,
her father,
her whole family has been in some kind of motorsports, whether it be, motorcycles, off-roads, whatever. So she's kind of got a little edge in the door with a name. So I feel like, Hallie Deegan's, I don't want to say, that it's an overkill, but, she's getting a lot more publicity than what she's proven she deserves right now.
But she's got wins.
Oh, she does. I agree. She's got wins,
and she's not afraid to.
I've watched her race a few races. I think she's got it. I mean, we'll see. Obviously,
she's definitely aggressive.
Yeah,
but she's definitely not afraid, and I feel like she's maybe I'm wrong, but just from watching, I think she has it as far as enough talent to.
Well, I guess we'll see this year.
Get there.
Well, the same thing could be said about Ricky Carmichael, too, back in the day when he drove truck. Everybody expected him to do really big things and win a lot of races, and that was kind of a flop.
Well, Steve Kinzer, Mark Kinzer.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't really go too far in the trucks either. I mean, she's not afraid to dump her teammate for the win, though, is she?
No.
The win's a win.
She proved that one.
Yeah. Moving on, Buddy Kofoid announced that he's going to be chasing Rookie of the Year honors with the NOS Energy Drink USAC National Midget Series next year. He's also said that he's going to drive for Ed Neumeister in the 11N like he did last year when his schedule will permit.
Right.
So hopefully that'll be around here as well.
And he's driving for a really, really good team in USAC. The Kuntz name in midgets they are right up there with top shelf equipment.
Must See Racing Sprint Car Series announced that it will headline the inaugural Indy Summer Nationals June 18th through the 20th at Lucas Oil Raceway in Brownsburg, Indiana. It will feature non-wing sprints utilizing the Little 500 rules. The Indy Summer Nationals will be the first non-wing event in the decade-old series.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. The non-wing portion will be taped for broadcast on MAV TV as part of Speed Sport.
They've had a lot of shows from the must-see series on MAV and some pretty interesting races.
Chip Ganassi Racing announced on Thursday, longtime motorsport owner and visionary. Didn't realize he was a visionary. They're my words. I copied that. Felix Sabates, yeah, he's retiring from the sport. 74 years old. I didn't realize he was that old either. Founded Sabco Racing in 1987, joined forces with current owner Chip Ganassi in 2001 when it became Chip Ganassi Racing with Felix Sabates. So he's stepping down.
At only what? 74 years old?
Yeah.
That's
young, right?
How old are you, Ron?
I don't think
just asked
he's
him.
not there yet.
Somebody asked on Facebook. I thought
He's got me by 2 years. Do the math.
Speaking of the Nomex Santa suit, sad news earlier this week.
Yeah,
where
Bill Simpson.
Bill Simpson passed away Monday at the age of 79, suffered a stroke. He's the one that came up, I guess, with parachutes on dragsters. I didn't realize that. Mm-hmm. And Nomex, obviously, for creating the modern fire suits.
And
you see his little sticker on the side of pretty much every race car.
Safety equipment in general, he did it.
Ryan Newman is going to be running a midget in this weekend's Gateway Dirt
Stuck it in the fence in hot laps.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Now, oops. The one big difference in the track layout this year is that there's an inside wall.
Yeah.
He found it.
Did he?
Yeah.
So that's the fence he stuck it in.
It didn't look like it did anything horribly bad, but yeah, he found it.
Well, if he's like Anton Hernandez, he can clip that left front off.
Left front tire is not important at all.
He joins Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who I believe they're all running in the midgets at the Gateway Dirt Nationals. So a lot of competition there.
getting ready for the Chili Bowl.
Yeah.
You know it.
Speaking of the Chili Bowl, I got some news on that. Before we get that, Kyle Larson, he's going to be headed to New Zealand after the Gateway Dirt Nationals to run the 6-round United Truck Parts World Midget Series. Then he's going to return stateside for the Chili Bowl in January. And then after that, he's going to head back to the other side of the world, to Australia, for some more racing, concluding with the Grand Annual Sprint Car Classic. So,
sprint cars or speed cars?
I put down sprint cars, but my notes could be wrong.
Okay, well, I don't know.
I think that's
speed cars in Australia are what we call midgets.
Okay,
they're politically correct.
I got nothing.
10-time World of Alcohol NAS Energy Drink Sprint Series champion Donnie Schatz announced on Wednesday he will compete in the 2020 Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals, driving a midget owned by Mark Cooper. Schatz' third time competing at the Chili Bowl Nationals, to be held at the River Spirit Expo in Tulsa, Oklahoma, January 13th through the 18th. And finally, before we talk to Stephen here, U.S. Representatives Patrick McHenry and Paul Ruiz, a Republican and a Democrat, bipartisan, have introduced H.R. 5434, recognizing the Protection of Motorsports Act of 2019. It protects the act, I guess, and you can expand on this. It's supposed to protect Americans' rights to convert street vehicles into dedicated race cars and the motorsports parts industry's ability to sell products that enable racers to compete. The RPM Act reverses the EPA's interpretation that the Clean Air Act... you explain.
No, go ahead, Scott.
I'm just reading verbatim here. Where was I?
Our listeners are smart. They know.
The 660-page report.
Right.
The RPM Act reverses the EPA's interpretation that the Clean Air Act does not allow motor vehicles designed for street use, including a car, truck, or motorcycle, to be converted into a dedicated race car. The American tradition was unquestioned for nearly 50 years until 2015, when the EPA took the position that converted vehicles must retain emission compliant, even though they are no longer driven on public streets or highways. SEMA is urging all racing industry members and enthusiasts to contact their members of Congress and ask them to support the bill. The entire article, along with the link, is on
everybody
Facebook.
in this room, Scott, is a circle track racer, so we're thinking, well, front wheel drive cars. Yeah, but you're not.
I'm the idiot on the radio, dude, that they all hate.
Merry Christmas, right?
Yeah, this would affect our front-wheel drive cars. Most of the other cars that you see at your normal Friday, Saturday tracks are pretty much purpose-built race cars. But think of the implications in drag racing, where probably three-quarters of the cars that race are street cars that were converted. Some of them are driven there, and no way in the world would they pass emission standards.
And we were talking before, and I didn't even realize that this had passed back in 2015 because apparently they're not really enforcing it.
Right.
So. Better not to have it though. So
that'd be ugly. Well, yeah, because there's going to be some idiot sooner or later up in Washington that's going to push the issue, and then they're
going to show up at your local speedway with an exhaust sniffer, and
it'll be part of the inspection process.
Your two things will happen. Somebody will leave in a sheriff car, and that guy will leave in an ambulance.
Yeah,
that's what'll happen. I mean, seriously.
They get too picky. Somebody ain't passing tech either.
Yeah.
Anyway, just do a Google search on RPM Act. And you'll find a couple of places where you can join a group and make your feelings heard.
Calling Stephen Klinect, the modified champion out at Sandusky Speedway.
All right.
Let's see how I did on my dialing.
I don't hear anything, Scott.
I don't either, so I'm a little worried.
You didn't dial 9.
I did.
Did you dial 1?
Maybe he's just listening to us and he's just messing with us.
Yeah. No, try again, Scott.
Right. I love our phones. I wish I could just program this ahead of time. Okay, he's in this area code. And then just turn that one. Let's see, so you missed one number. No, I lost where it was. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You needed the last 3.
Hey, now it's ringing.
Imaginaire.
Right. Here we go. Sure you don't want to dial 911?
I can hear you guys.
Steven, it's Scott Hammer, Ron Miller, and the rest of Sandusky champs, and Chris Mize over there as well. Hammer Down Racing Report. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you guys tonight?
Pretty
wonderful.
Good. I'm glad I didn't dial 911 again. Apparently,
Well,
Chris was listening to that show.
Yeah.
It
came through the first time you called, but I was saying hello. But
I did dial it right then. It wasn't me. It was
Scott.
our phone system. I just used line 2.
Yeah.
Line 2 seemed to work. So,
okay.
So anyways,
We'll give you that one.
Congratulations, Stephen, on your championship there in 2019. I guess you're also a 2013 modified champ at Sandusky Speedway, so no stranger to championships.
Yeah, we had a lot of good luck this year. Ran real well. I didn't know if we'd get the season off. It rained. I feel like forever, a couple months there, and we didn't really run until about June.
Yeah, I think that pretty much affected everybody in the racing world, unfortunately. What's your hometown? Where are you from?
Burbank, Ohio. I mean, it might have 500 people in it.
Okay, is that where's that near?
Lodi.
Lodi, Medina County.
Medina County. Okay, I know Medina County. I don't know what the hell you just said though.
Lodi.
Burbank.
Is that a
Bullet.
song?
No, Lodi.
It's a song, I think.
Yeah.
No, it's a town, too.
Okay, take your word for it.
Yeah.
So you're the only champion that did not make the trip in here. So we need to shame you for that.
Yeah, dude, it's about
between
3.5
work and
hours.
What's
Yeah,
that?
it'd be a long haul.
Well, we appreciate the time anyways. What has made you so successful in the modifieds at Sandusky Speedway? And I guess you're pretty successful at Lorraine, too. You got a championship there?
No, I don't have a championship there. I finished second.
Okay.
Twice there. I've won a couple features there.
All right.
But it's a combination of a lot of things. A good car. My dad's just a hell of a mechanic. And I don't know, we've ran there since 2010, so I got bunch of laps around there, and we just come prepared every week. And so, yeah, I mean, we just have a lot of good fortunes come our way this year and in 2013. I mean, we didn't wreck a whole bunch, and we finished every race. So, I mean,
tell us a little bit about your car.
It's a Burkett and Esther chassis. It was actually brand new this year. I got Jody from Medina Mountain Motors that builds the engines, and me and my dad, we get the frame and we build it from there. And my dad does the setup, I do the body. And so, yeah.
Chevrolet engines?
Oh, yeah. That's the only thing I'll run.
Okay.
That car, if I can remember, you come out to Hot Lap when it didn't rain one weekend at the beginning of the year. That car was fast right out of the box, if I can remember, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we hit on something this year that we haven't had in the years past, and I don't know. It's just anytime we unload it, it's just super fast and it stays consistent. I feel like it showed at Sandusky's Cavalcade when all the big guys were there, and I think we started 6th or 7th, and we got the lead real early. And just misfortune, we had a flat tire halfway through, and we had to pit. And, of course, we had all these cautions. The first 50 laps, the second 50 laps, there was none. But I mean, we had a rocket when everybody else was there. So, I mean, I feel like our car is really competitive wherever we take it.
So you don't consider yourself one of the big guys then?
Yeah, you
I'd
are.
like to think I am, but I don't.
He's going to be all modest.
Cocky person.
Yeah, he's going to be all modest, but yes, Steven's one of the big guns. I mean, if you ever met his family, I mean, I never get worried about Steven or Mark, his dad. You know, I'm scared to death of his mom when she gets pissed. That's who would scare me. When he pulled his kung fu move, his mom had Kevin Jaycock scared to death when she come running. You get my kid off that track.
All right, I was told I had to ask about this kung fu move. What happened?
I wish I could forget it.
Was it this past year?
Nobody got it on tape. No, I'm pretty easygoing and mellow, and like it takes a lot for it to really like irate me, I guess. and I got sent to the back, which I deserved to go to the back. I spun out the leader, and you deal with squirrels in the back sometimes, and squirrels piss me off. And
pissed him off bad that night.
Yeah, we both went off a turn one, and
You make it to the cornfield?
Oh, no, thank God. But this guy, I'm not going to give him his name or anything, but he almost wrecked the field like a week prior to that. And what he did to me, it just kind of set me off the deep end, and I ran, and like he was facing me, I ran to his car. Kind of modifieds don't have windshields, so some thought went in my head, I'm going to jump through this guy's window, feet first, it's like towards the seat and helmet, and then I jumped off his car and I punched him a few times. I'm not real proud of it. I'm really glad nobody got him on
man,
tape.
I was sitting in the tower. I'm sorry, Steven. I got to tell. I'm sitting in the tower, and if you ever been around Steven, he is actually one of the most calm, collective. I mean, he's even real calm when he gets mad. And I'm watching this from the tower, and I'm like, holy crap, is that? And the first thing I said out of my mouth when he's flying through the air doing a karate kick, and I'm watching him through the wind, through the, man, I hope somebody's got this on video. And nobody had it on
Thank
video.
God nobody did.
His $500 fine got passed to the poor guy. I was in the tower laughing and saying, I hope somebody's got it on video. And on the radio saying, find the Klinect, $500. But it was a classic.
Did you let the offending driver take his helmet off, or were you punching his helmet?
The helmet.
I didn't give him time to take his helmet off.
Okay.
This is the helmet. But
No.
yeah, sorry, Steven. That's a classic moment that I think.
I'm sure that'll stick with me for a while.
Carl's over there shaking his head, laughing. It's a classic moment that none of us expected. And like I said, Kevin said, "Man, out of all that went on, So I was more scared of his mom because she come up, you get my kid and get him off that track.
Any further run-ins with this driver?
He hadn't been back.
Oh,
Yeah, he hasn't came back.
all right.
But no, like.
Did you send him a Christmas
I'm
card?
No, he's not on my Christmas list.
So I saw you did some traveling to other tracks back in 2015. Did you travel anywhere else, race anywhere else this past season?
I mean, we went to Midville a couple of times this year. We actually won at Midville's Memorial Day Classic, which was awesome. We were in Midville and Sandusky. I mean, that's really it. I mean, I really wanted to win the points this year at Sandusky, so my main focus was that. And, I mean, it's really hard to race every week anymore, especially when I got 2 young kids and I want to spend time with them. So, but this coming year, I plan on traveling a little more.
Okay. That actually was my next question. What are your plans for 2020? You're not going to defend the championship then at Sandusky Speedway?
Oh, yeah. Sandusky has a nice amount of modified races that I can go to all of them. There's a couple tracks I want to go to. Kalamazoo's having a big modified race this year called Mod Wars or something. I think it's called Mod Wars. It's $5,000 to win. I really want to go to that race. Then there's a track, Bertrand, Michigan has a big race in June. I think it's a Friday, Saturday deal, like 75 laps. I'm going to go there and kind of really hoping Toledo pulls off a modified race. I've been there once and I loved it there, so we'll see.
So what's your favorite track that you've ever raced on?
Oh, favorite track ever. It's kind of a love-hate. It's probably Bristol.
Bristol Motor Speedway?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sandusky. I love racing at Sandusky.
I'm thinking
Go ahead.
I'm thinking the banking at Bristol is a little bit more than Sandusky.
He got clobbered.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was
I read
terrible.
That was
about
ugly.
it.
What happened?
I got spun out, and then I got hit. Then when I spun out, I was facing towards traffic. I got hit head on, and when I got hit head on, it turned me sideways, and my passenger door was facing the cars coming down the track, and I got T-boned at probably about 100 mile an hour, and it sent me up and over a guy, and
Jeez.
completely annihilated it.
I watch that. I tell you what, I watch that. And
If you got
I've watched
computer
the
next
video
to you,
100 times, and I sit there and go,
just Google my name.
Steven's a
Just
great
type
guy, and
Bristol.
I'm just amazed by the
Steven
safety
Finer.
equipment he has, that he walked away
Yeah,
with
yeah.
nothing major than just some soreness, you know.
you, what'd you say,
Yeah.
Steven? That's on Google, right? Or,
It's on YouTube.
Yeah,
YouTube.
Just Google my name with Bristol Motor Speedway, and it'll pop right up. And crazy thing was, I had a Speed 51 put an in-car camera in my car for that race. So it's actually like pointing towards me as the wreck is happening. It was crazy.
Well, I will
But,
say one thing his dad will not skimp on is safety.
And I'm guessing the modifieds are going pretty darn fast around Bristol too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're cooking. If you want to be quick there, you don't use the brake. You let off, get right back on.
All right, I'm watching the video now.
When he
You
gets
guys can't see it. It's the in car, and it is on you. You haven't wrecked yet. You're doing pretty good though. Looks pretty good.
We were really fast that time.
So let me ask you one final question here before we let you go. You're spinning now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, finish watching that real quick.
Now you're sitting there. You put your hands over your face. Oh yeah, that's
Oh, you got clobbered.
that's some pretty hard hits there.
Yeah. That baby was junk.
Well, scrap metal.
Yeah, pretty expensive scrap metal.
Was there anything salvageable from that car?
Yeah, right
Steven.
the rear end was actually straight.
Steering wheel maybe?
And no, steering wheel was bent. It was a $200 MPI steering wheel. It was junk. But I saved the steering wheel, the seat, the steering column, and the motor. And the motor actually had to go to the engine shop because it destroyed the oil pan, and the oil pickup actually ripped off the motor.
Did they not have spotters or radios?
No, they had spotters. It's just two things. I mean, you got guys that have never been. That was the first ever race at Bristol, and you got, rookie people spotting for you, and they just weren't watching ahead of the track like they're supposed to.
Wow. So one last question for you then, on a happier note. We've been asking this of all the, we've been having the track champions of area tracks on the past few weeks, past month, I guess, past month and a half. We've been asking them similar questions to this. It is basically you and the other track champions here in the studio. Who would win in a race of equally prepared big wheels? You, Brandon, Carl, or Colton?
Oh, man.
Well, I'm going to say myself. I hope they all say themselves too.
And why?
So I don't like to lose.
Okay.
And he knows a few kung fu moves.
Yeah.
Don't piss him off. It takes a lot from what I hear. But.
My big wheel better have extra horsepower because I got a lot of weight to pull. In.
All I gotta say is, Steven, you better make sure you got stiff axles in that car.
Yeah.
It is. You're talking about big wheels, and now they're all getting ready. I'm putting my money on Colton because it wasn't that long ago he was on a big wheel.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got the most recent experience.
Yes.
Huh? All right. Well, Stephen, we appreciate the time and good luck in 2020.
All right, I appreciate you guys. You all have a great Christmas.
Thank you.
All right.
See you, Stephen.
All right. Stephen Klinect, the modified champion there at Sandusky Speedway. And let's move on to, who should we go to next? Who wants to talk next?
There we go.
We're going to go with Colton? Apparently you've been volunteered. Because, again, we're having trouble shutting you up, so we'll let you talk first. Hi!
Hi.
Where are you from?
Ohio. Castile, Ohio.
The Blue Hole used to be there.
Still there.
I'll bet it still is.
Yeah.
But it's closed, though.
Yeah.
It's closed. Okay. So that's pretty far. Not too bad, but pretty far. And you're actually the champion of a brand new class that debuted this past year, right?
Beginner stock.
Beginner stocks. How cool was that? Pull that microphone right up to you. There you go.
It was cool that they offered it this year.
Now, when did you know that you were going to be running a beginner stock?
Well, when Kevin told us about it, I was still on go-karts, and we were planning on doing it the next year, and then, he told us about it a year before, and then we never did it because nobody was in it, and then this year, we did it this year, and we started in a Chevy Cavalier 4-cylinder, but it was too slow for me, and I was in the back the entire time, so we bought Chevy Beretta, and I'm the track champion, so.
No,
So apparently
the beginner stocks are all front-wheel drive cars?
Yeah.
4-cylinder?
4 or 6.
4 or 6, okay.
So similar to the Renegades?
Age 13 to 8. I think we had it 13, wasn't it, Brandon? 13 to 18.
So how old are you?
13. I just turned 13.
Well, age 11 to 13.
So you got some time to run this class before you move up if you decide to do so, right?
Well, we had that talk. You know, he's ready. He's ready to move up.
Okay. Is there a limit to how many?
Well, we kind of, I think, wanted him in it. You know, one of these guys in a year or two. You know, at his age, 2 years or so is, you know, pretty good. The whole thing is when you start winning, you know, move on up. So the younger kids, you know how it is. I mean, you go out and get your butt whooped, you lose interest. So, but
I'm still getting my butt whooped tonight. I'm still interested.
We dropped the ball. We dropped the ball on this class, in the beginner stock class, and you know, with the Renegade guys and myself. But you know, these kids come around. I tell you, to watch them from beginning to end, they come around, and you know, there was some wrecks that happened. They had some learning curves, and you know, Colton did a hell of a job towards the end of the year. And personally, you know, it's up to the money man over there. But you know, I have no problem. At the end of the day, it's going to be our decision on if we think they should come up, or you know.
No, the car.
With his
I'm assuming
skills, yeah.
the cars are the same as the Renegade, so you could just Or does he need?
They're a little less motor. They normally, you know.
But he could run with the Renegades legally.
Absolutely.
Maybe not competitively in this.
No, no.
They're a little less motor, and then they have like cambering rules.
Okay, so the rules are a little bit different.
It keeps the cars more stock.
Yeah.
So, like everyday people when they come in, that are just learning racing, it's not too like overwhelming. And then once they figure that out, and like Colton's done, when they have the car to be able to move up, and then they can get into our rules where you could start doing way more stuff.
Yeah, this is our first year, and I wasn't comfortable, you know, I didn't know, and he just took to it, you know. I'm like, well, he's been racing go-karts since he's been 5, and, you know. And
so racing's not new to you, it's just a little bit bigger
he's
vehicle.
like,
Yeah.
move him up, move him in a car. Like,
I remember when he first came out hot lap, I told him, he's going around, I says, hey, listen, that's what you do is you go into the corner, and when it spins out, you know how far you went, you know. I said, then, you know, move on. Well, you know, you watch these kids come up, and Colton did a hell of a job. Like I said, towards the end of the season, he was real, you know, real good. We called him up to the tower. I don't know what, 4 or 5 weeks left in the season, was it? Dan Smith and McKay and that. And like I say, the Renegade guys, it's all derived from that. They were supposed to oversee it along with myself. We dropped the ball on a lot of things towards the end, but with a little bit of help from Dan and Brandon and these guys towards the end, you could see these kids improve, and that's what it's all about. I mean,
like passing
you
on
want
the
to talk,
outside,
son?
and like,
You're on camera. Just so you know.
It's hard to compete when he's got a microphone in front of him.
It's. I praise these kids, you know, and what I preach and preach. You've heard me preach it. Without this,
there's no future.
We're done.
Yeah.
So you know, there's something we put together, and hopefully it you know, if he wants to stay in the beginner stock class one more year, that's fine. You know.
So what do you think?
I want to move up to Renegade.
Yeah.
What's Grandpa?
Yeah. What's Grandpa think?
yeah. I don't know. These guys watch them. You know, I'm in the pits and stuff, and I watch when I can. But these guys watch from the towers, and then they keep telling me, "What do you mean? He can drive?" So
he's ready.
You know,
it's one of them deals. You only learn so much
in the beginners class
until you move up. You know how it is. You move up in the class, and the only problem you get sometimes you get your butt whooped.
Yeah.
You know, you're running. You know, but you're not going to learn. He's not going to learn to. You know. He's gonna
so how did you know that you wanted to get into racing when you were 5? I'm assuming that's when you started go-karts.
Yeah, and I've been riding 4-wheelers in all my life, so.
So how did you get interested in racing? Was it family or?
No, we still ride 4-wheelers a lot, but we joined like a fair race, and I fell in love with it. I got 3rd place that race, and then my grandpa got me a go-kart for Christmas, and then we started racing at Sandusky. And then I've been racing since I was 5 years old from then.
And we won 3 years track championship
in the go-karts?
In the go-karts.
Yeah.
Now, what brought you to Sandusky Speedway?
Probably just because it's closest track.
How does your mom feel about you racing?
She's a little nervous about it, but
Grandma's the same way. Don't move him up. Don't.
Okay.
Well, they come to the races, but
well, that's good.
They don't like it.
But they like it when you win, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all that matters. Well, and staying safe too.
Yeah.
What are your plans for next year? Obviously, it kind of sounds like we're.
Yeah.
Like we know what you want to do, but.
Yeah, if we move up to Renegade, we can get another track champion there, but probably not.
Some high expectations there. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Hey, go for it.
Bring it on, kid.
I like you now, kid. Oh, you're past me? Whoops.
Yeah, you're all going to come back on me now. I have to find him another car or build the one he's got.
So is this a long-term thing? You see yourself racing for many years down the road?
Yeah.
Where would you?
Sandusky.
Where would you like to see? I mean, as far as like what class would you ultimately like to end up in? I mean, like NASCAR or Formula One, IndyCar, modified at Sandusky? You know, what's your aspirations?
Well, next year, hopefully Renegade, but
I'm talking further down the road, like
yeah,
10
probably
years.
Modifies maybe.
Okay.
Probably.
On the
Kinda wanna
asphalt?
do that. Yeah.
You like the asphalt better than the dirt?
I haven't raced dirt yet.
Don't
Okay.
corrupt him.
I'm just asking.
Just kidding.
Just asking.
He raced
No, I'd
cars
love to
dirt.
try dirt, but yeah, asphalt.
Okay. All right. Well, we wish you luck in 2020, whether it be defending the you'd allow him to run the
Yeah,
beginners
yeah,
at
yeah.
least one more year then.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether it be defending your beginner stock champ or championship or trying to
These
compete
big
with this
boys.
guy here.
I know.
Not me, that's this guy.
Yeah.
At least I guess I'm assuming that you'd be racing with drivers that have a little more experience than
Yeah.
if you move up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find was it difficult racing other drivers?
At the start, yeah, and then you kind of get used to it. Kind of
Okay.
learn how to pass them, and
But is it cool though to have this class as an
Yeah.
entry for younger drivers? Okay.
definitely.
Well, cool.
Who you want to thank?
Yeah. Who helps you besides
Yeah,
Grandpa?
I'd like to thank Kevin and Chris, my grandpa, my dad, for building the car. Everybody who,
Now, do you help work on the car too?
yes, I love to work on the car.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do everything you can.
My family for supporting me at Sandusky, and Chris again for having a track to race at.
He's getting points now, but that don't count.
Has he yelled at you on the radio?
No, not that I know
Give
of.
it time. Give it time.
Yeah.
I
It
bet
won't
you
take
it'll
long.
I know, right?
Have you had the urge to get out of your car and go drop kick another driver?
No.
You will, pal.
That's coming in time.
Yeah, you got to learn that one.
Yeah.
Stay away from this guy.
Isn't that bad?
Okay. All right, Colton Fowler, congratulations,
Thank you.
and good luck next year.
Thanks.
All right. Let's go to him. We'll just go down the line here. We'll get to Carl last.
We're already there, so we
Yeah,
might as well.
and we're talking the front wheel drives. So, and apparently you have a new challenger possibly for next year. What do you think of that?
I'm excited about it. More cars, the better. It helps the division grow, and I look forward to the challenge. That's why we race competition.
Brandon Halcomb, the Renegade Stock champion. Where'd you drive in from tonight?
I drove in from Akron, but I was born in Cleveland, so
So, okay,
yeah.
a little bit of a hike. We
Yeah, a
appreciate
little
you
bit.
making the trip in.
Oh, no problem.
How many years have you been racing?
7. I'm pretty sure, yeah, 7.
So he's got more years racing than you do.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
all in front wheel drive cars.
Correct. Yeah. I've always been huge into cars. Cars have been my passion, and then I've loved NASCAR. And Mark Martin was my favorite driver, so that's why I have. That's why I have drove 6, and then now I drive 5. You know, Mark drove 5 for Hendrick, and so yeah. And
Here we go.
yeah. So that's kind of just how I got started. And I remember being a teenager and watching it, and I looked at my dad and I said, I think I can do this. Not, you know, obviously I'm not in NASCAR, but I've always felt like I had a decent ability to have control over a car. And I never thought about even getting into racing. And then one of my buddies, John McKee, he's like, buy this front wheel drive and get started, because he just started. And I got started driving, and it took off.
Is that what
from
you
there.
started in, then the front wheel drive?
Yeah, I've been
No
in that.
go-kart experience or
No.
anything?
I don't think they got a go-kart big enough for me.
He's big enough that I wasn't going to go with there.
Well, I'm assuming that you were a little smaller at some point in time. Childhood, maybe.
Not really. I was at 13. I was over 6 foot, about 290. So I've always been big. I was just naturally
No
big.
football in your background?
No, that's the crazy part. I mean, I played backyard football and stuff, but nothing as far as, high school or college or nothing. No.
Sorry, I've seen bigger guys getting into race cars. I won't mention any names. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Nice guy, though. Very nice guy.
So what makes your cars faster than the junior cars?
Well, we have one, like, they have to keep stock from, like, 96 to 88, whatever. It would be a regular stock 3.1. Whereas our rules, we're allowed to go up to a 3400. So that would be, most of us run in the 2000s, the 2004 or 5, I think, is the last year they made the 34s as far as that, what we run.
Now, do they have to be American made, or can they be anything?
In our, I'm pretty sure even in there,
We don't care.
we don't.
Okay.
it's
We
just
don't.
open.
We don't time these guys. You know,
Somebody
one thing-
does.
Well, Grandpa might or whatever, but we will never.
I'm seeing a head nod over
For
there.
this division here, beginner sec, we'll never time them, and
Right.
the reason being is they need to worry about more things than what the hell time they're running out on the track. You know, and we don't want that to come into play. So, and, you know, Brandon, these guys are running. The difference is if you really took a time on them, they're going probably 23.
I would
20.
say beginner stocks are in the 23s to high 24s, and then we run anywhere from 21. We're in the 21s, close to 20s, and then our slowest normally in the 22s. So I mean, we're about, I would say, 2 seconds at least faster than what beginner stocks are.
Sure.
These guys are running a track record, street stock track record 5 years ago. They broke that with this year. The track record holder this year was faster than a street stock time 5 years ago. So it's elevating out.
Wow.
I've seen a lot of front-wheel drive races at various racetracks, and the cars are getting scary fast.
These guys are. How many different winners do we have, Brian?
We had 7 or 8, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's like our field is so competitive. It's pretty cool that, like, we have a pretty open rule book, but we have rules, and we've had 7 or 8 different winners. And there was one week where you look at the timesheet, the fastest to like the 13th fastest was only about a second. And I mean, NASCAR spends millions of dollars to try to keep cars, you know, within so much tenths of each other, and to have like that many cars in just like a front wheel drive that close, it's pretty cool to see, because I think, like, as far as our rules and everything, we nailed it, and just to see the competition level so close, it's just about who gets out front, and then it's hard to catch.
How many wins did you get this year?
I got 4. That was a pretty good year, considering considering like our competition. You know, I would have liked to have more. I've had years where I've had more wins, but
And what happened the final night of the points competition?
because
Because you didn't run, right?
no, I didn't. Justin Stanley, his car, the transmission went out, and I really didn't need to run. And
You already had the points locked
yeah,
up at that
and
point.
I offered him drive it if he wants to. That way he could. I think he actually gained a spot in points or whatever, but give him an opportunity to drive.
But you could have got win number 5, and then that
Yeah.
would have been your number.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just try to help out.
But you did the sportsman thing to do.
Yeah,
Good sportsmanship.
and plus,
Justin found a backstretch wall like bam.
With
Is
your
that
car?
the night he knocked himself out? Or
he finished 3rd that night. But it was they got a little tangled up there, but I also liked it.
What were you thinking when that happened?
Well, I was actually sitting with my parents, and I'm like, oh, hopefully it's not too bad. But I like to also see, as far as competitor, am I getting everything I need out of the car? If I could put somebody else in it,
Get some
and
feedback from
get
him?
some feedback, 1, and just 2, make sure the driver's doing his job too. And you know, I got some, you know, data to work with as far as
Sure.
So what are your plans for next year?
staying in the Renegades and keep doing.
Defend the championship?
Yeah, defend the championship and, you know, try to get my 3rd one and keep doing what I'm doing.
Now, did you do any traveling this year?
This year, no,
Okay.
not really. We didn't with the weather, and I had some other personal things going on. Just didn't get around to it. But a couple years before, we traveled to Barberton and then Ona. You know, made a few trips. But I think this 2020, as a division, we're hoping to be able to travel to a couple different racetracks. So
They're their own entity. So, you know, the Renegade Stock Series is actually their own LLC. They're almost like a traveling series every week with us, you know, the pay and everything. So what it's come down to is there's a board of directors for the LLC. You got Brandon, Chris Stevens, Dan Smith, James McKay, and Brad Merritt, and they make all the decisions. So this series on our off nights at Sandusky there's going to be about 5-6 races where they might brand out and go somewhere else and run.
Huh.
So
I did not know that.
yeah, they're their own entity. So if anybody's out there watching this and interested in sponsorship of the Renegade Stock Series, go to the Facebook page, Renegade Stock Series, and message Facebook page, and you know they'll be taking good care of you. You know, they don't care if it's $100, $1,000, and any kind of.
Would you guys race on a dirt track?
Here we go.
I'm just asking.
that would be something we'd have to talk to as
Okay.
board. But I would say it'd probably be pretty hard, maybe to run dirt, just because our cars sit so low. We'd have to change some stuff up so we don't bottom out. Or
What happens if,
but-
like, NASCAR comes calling and they want you guys to be a support
Well, I
class
mean-
for the truck series at Eldora?
I mean, if
I
they
keep them right away from NASCAR. What do you mean NASCAR? That's a bad word, man.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I wouldn't turn down anything. I mean, we got a lot of great drivers, and anybody's up for the challenge. So
Okay. Final question: who would win? Equally prepared big wheels.
definitely not me. I'm too big, and mine need more power. So I would definitely not put money on me. You'll lose. So
So
but
who do you think
not
would
for
be?
competition, but
You got Colton, Steven, Carl.
it all depends on who gets out of the wreck, because I know Carl's going to hit somebody. So it's like
Carl's already said he's aiming for Steven. So
And then look at me and say, I never touched them.
So I would
Merry
say
Christmas, right?
whoever gets out of the wreck with one piece will get the win. Or you never know, I might win and they all three might wreck. So then I'm just poking along. But
are you gonna run the Hangover race this year?
no, too cold for me.
Oh, come on.
I'm a baby when it comes to cold.
Have you
weather.
ever run the Hangover?
No.
Oh, jeez. All right. How about you? Have you ever run the Hangover? Are you going to run the Hangover?
I want to this year, but
What does Grandpa think about that?
he doesn't think I have the car.
Oh, you got a week and a half.
That weather is the equalizer, brother.
Yeah, it can be.
It's a whole different ball game on New Year's Day.
Oh yeah,
Everything's different.
Mr. Sideboard over there.
yeah.
All right, let's move on and talk to our final champion here, Carl Smith, the Lake Erie stock champ, the 2018 Cavalcade winner, and you were the 2012 Lorain County champ as well, right?
Yes.
Where'd you make the drive into from tonight?
Amherst.
Okay,
So about an hour and 15 minutes.
not too bad.
Nah,
Could have been worse.
gets out of the city for a while.
How far is that from Sandusky then? It's not that far.
Well, it depends on who's driving and what kind of day it is. When we're going to the track, it's about 20 minutes with me driving. On the way home, depending on how we did, it's anywhere between 20 minutes to a half hour, 45 minutes, depending on what kind of mood everybody's in.
Now, you had some issues, I guess, on the final night of competition as well.
Yeah.
What happened to you?
Well, I normally don't like to make big changes, and I decided I was going to make a change, just try something different.
Now,
and-
did you had the championship locked up before?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
there
I
Going
was-
into that.
There was like 3-4 races left, and I think him and
Yeah.
Brandon both had it left.
Okay.
up.
And I decided I was going to try something different, and I did, and it didn't work. The car started wheel hopping. I'm like, oh boy. So I tried to roll to the gas a little bit better, squeeze the brake as I was going into the corner a little bit lighter, so it wouldn't wheel hop, and broke an axle. So yeah, the tire went off, landed in a tree. We found it after the races, but then I hopped in my van, drove back to Amherst, went to Lorain, got an axle, came back to the track and
Wait.
was getting ready to put it together. In less
Nobody
than a half
told
hour.
The
me.
same night?
Yeah.
Nobody told me, nor did he call, and nobody told me that he was going to. We're getting ready to.
So what difference would it have made if he told you?
Because we were getting ready to. They were going out like first.
Yeah.
And I was getting ready to send them out, at intermission. And they were actually rolling the track, and he's calling me, "Hey, I'm pulling back into the track right now." So what the hell are you talking about? He goes, "Well, I got an X on it." I said, well, what? If somebody would have told me, they'd have pushed him back, and he would have had the car fixed and been racing that.
By the time they were halfway to go, we had the car back together and drove it and put it back on the trailer. And then I had to go sit in the stands and watch the rest of the feature, and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
You're not a good spectator?
No.
But you had the championship.
Yeah.
So what made you so dominant other than
Homework.
the rest of the season? And not making big changes?
No, we made a lot of changes. I mean, I've had numerous talks with Chris. My car spends more time on the lift in the garage during the week than it does on the ground on race day. I mean, and I'm consistently going out and trying different things to see what I can do to make the car as best as I possibly can. Trying different springs, different shocks, different camber, trying all kinds of different things to make the car better, because that's the only way you become better, and figure out how you can drive the car on nights that it's cold versus nights that's hot, just everything, and just keeping up with the swing of the changes, because, I know Brandon probably can tell you this too, that your track's going to go through changes throughout the year. It goes really cold and loose. Then in the summertime, it gets a little bit warmer and it gets tight and loose depending on how you like your car. And then towards the end of the season, when the track gets cold again, it goes back to loose again. So I constantly taking springs with me in different shocks to try to keep the car under control for whatever I needed to do that particular night.
What track condition do you prefer?
Loose.
Okay.
I love a loose car. If it's tight, I hate it.
How about sponsors?
Oh, I got some good ones.
Let's talk about them.
Perfection Fabricators, Dave Ennis, Parker Ennis, the whole Ennis family, they're awesome people. They've supported me and helped me. I've said, hey, Parker, it's, 10 o'clock at night. I need some sheet metal because this got messed up.
Now, don't I remember seeing them as a racing family there too?
Yeah, Parker's got a modified, and he's got one ridiculously bad street stock.
Okay.
So, they're awesome people. I also got Billy Becker with Becker Performance Engines and Coatings. He's awesome when it comes to build a motor. I got Tom Findish. He owns Dynamic Science Plus. He did all the stickers on the car. Johnny Tokarczyk at Rick's Speed Shop. I can call him up at nighttime and go, hey, look, dude, this is what's broke. I need you to order me a new radiator like tomorrow, and I will have it Monday. He's awesome. Awesome people. I had Lakeshore Auto on the car this year. I also had my buddy Shane Croxton. He's got a bicycle club, believe it or not, called Ride Illyria, where they ride around the city on bicycles to get people out and do stuff, instead of playing on Xboxes and just sitting at home doing
That's
nothing.
a good thing.
So, yeah, he used to be a stunt rider for Ride for Life, and he used to go to shows and do wheelies and all this other stuff on motorcycles. And, he decided that, doing it at Quaker Steak and stuff like that just really wasn't what he was going to do no more, so he started riding bicycles around. And so he's like, look, put my name on your car, under Ride Illyria. So, okay, whatever you want to do, pal.
And you're a good spokesperson.
Yeah.
I try to be. I also got Clifton Community Church on my car, so they're awesome people. My mom with Julie's little greenhouse, because, she's got a little greenhouse business.
How many trophies you give away?
Every one except for the first one.
There you go.
To kids?
Yes.
Yes. I sign every one of them, and I walk through the crowd and go, hey, you like racing, little man or little lady? Yeah, here, Merry Christmas, and I'll give them a trophy. I don't want them.
Is there anybody that, any of the little kids say, I don't want that?
No, not one. They look at it and go, holy cow, Mom, look at this. I got one little kid goes, yeah, but it's a Carl Smith trophy. I'm like, really? Oh, well.
But does it have your name on it?
No.
Well, other than
it
what
did
you
when I
signed.
signed it,
Okay.
but, just wipe that off when you get home.
Yeah.
Tell them it's from whoever you want. I don't matter.
So is that something you're going to continue doing?
Absolutely.
You don't want trophies?
I did. Well, normally what I do is the first one I get of the year, I'll give it to my mom or whoever helps me with the car. I'll say, hey, I didn't give you one last year. You want this one? Here you go. And then every other one, I just give it away. I've done it since 2012. And
there's a lot of other racers out there, like me, Going, I've never won a trophy.
Come to Sandusky, Carl. Give
You
you
never
one.
gave me one. I know. That's right. There you go.
If I'd have known, I'd have gave you a heat race last year at the Hangover race.
Wait, do you get trophies for that?
I don't remember.
I don't-
Maybe.
I'm just a race
He used
director.
to give all his trophies away in his gold cars. You know,
You used to give your
kids run
trophies? Who'd you give your trophies
little
to?
kids that come up.
Yeah.
Littler kids?
Yeah. I gave a couple to my cousin. 'Cause
Did you
they
sign
were-
them too?
No.
It was going to be worth $1 million in a few years.
Yeah.
So, do you have a nickname, Carl?
Yeah, Rowdy.
How'd
'Cause
that come about?
Well,
And does that have anything to do with Kyle?
no, I got it way before he did, believe it or not. I got it back in 99 because I had a guy that, he was faster than me. And we went out for hot laps, and he ripped my back bumper off twice in hot laps, and we had 3 sets back then. I said, dude, you're faster. Go around. You know what I mean? And he kept saying, well, you get out of the way. I'm like, I'm driving my line. You're faster, just go around. So, we went up to the board, and I seen him. I said, listen, here's the deal. You obviously qualify better than me. I'm telling you what, you tear off my bumper or even hit the car, you're done. You're going for a ride. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, yeah, right, whatever. Well, later that night in the feature, he did it in the heat race, ripped the bumper completely off. So I had John the welder at Lorraine weld it back on. And then, I seen him in the feature. I said, okay, here we go. And I told my people, I said, listen, be prepared because it's going to happen. He's going for a ride. That's all there's to it. And in the feature, I drove right through the driver's side rear quarter panel. He slid across the infield, hit the telephone pole, it wobbled, fell down, knocked the power out down the back straight away.
Wow.
And
So you canceled the race for the night?
Well, they didn't cancel it. They just postponed it for a couple hours. So, yeah, he hit the pole and knocked it down. And then the next you try to kill me. I'm like, I told you was going for a ride. I didn't mean for you to hit the pole, but I meant for you to go for a ride. If you want to take the bumper off again, I don't know what else you could hit in the infield, but we'll figure out
Getting
something.
wound up right now. Listen to it. Huh?
A couple of my friends like, you're just crazy. You're a rowdy one. I wouldn't want to race with you. I'm like, just remember that.
I'll bet you never had any trouble
Nope,
from
not
then
a
on.
peep. Not a peep.
Been there, done that.
Did you get and did you get penalized or anything for
No.
taking that guy out?
They said, well, what happened? I said, look, I was trying to go up and, I went right through his quarter panel. I ain't gonna lie to you. So I did it.
It was
He
a
come
racing
down
incident.
on me.
Yeah, it was a racing incident.
So, and that was that. And after that, I never really talked to him. He never really talked to me. And we didn't have a problem on the track either. So I guess the point was proven.
Yes, sir.
So what's your plans for next year?
Well, I don't know. I've been really throwing around the idea of getting out of it for a couple of years or at least a year. But then it's like I'm helping my buddies get into it and build cars to run this division. And they're like, oh, you can't, sell your car because we want to race with you since you're helping us. It's like, but I want to go fishing. I want to do other stuff that I didn't do, last year. And then it's like, we had a couple weeks off, and I'm like, I'm going fishing. That's it. I'm not going to race. And it's, well, let's go run Paynesville. Oh, come on, dude. Really? Yeah, I'll bring a gear. And, you grab your transmission, and we're going to go run Paynesville, or we're going to go do this. We're going to go. And then I get easily talked into going and doing something else. It's just easy for me. So, I've been kicking around the idea of just going fishing and doing other stuff. But then it's like I keep telling myself, well, I'm going to give
So
it
it
to
sounds
Jim.
like you're going to be racing next year.
Yeah, probably. So,
Any chance of defending championship? Sandusky Speedway
I
championship?
feel like this. My birthday's coming up in January, and if the car doesn't sell, I'm going to start tearing it apart, going through it, and putting it back together. And then we'll see how it goes. But, if I'm going to race, I'm going to race full time. I keep telling myself that I'm going to run certain shows, and that's it. But then I know as soon as I get in the car and run hot laps, it's like, all right, well, cool. Well, then next week we're going to do this. And then it's next week's we're going to do this.
The
And
disease.
yeah. And then next
Well,
thing you know.
He's not running for a full season
I can tell you
until
that-
the first few weeks of the season, and if he does good, then
Yeah,
I've
that's
been,
kinda how
I've
it
been
happens.
retiring for 4 years.
I can tell you that the promoters really don't like it when you tell them that maybe we're going to miss a few shows.
yeah. But then the promoters are also going, he'll be back.
Yeah.
I told myself this year I was going to come out and run a few races, just to help the division grow and see what happens. And then, when I came out of the gate and I was fast, I'm like, wow, okay. And then, I think, I don't know how many weeks, but we fast qualifier won the feature, so many weeks, and it's like, well, I just can't stop now.
Now, this Lake Erie Stocks series, they run other tracks, or is it just Sandusky?
No, They ran the rain a couple years prior, and then, they wanted to go run Sandusky, and then they made the agreement with Sandusky, and then they said, well, would you come and run with us and help the division grow? I'm like, well, let's see what kind of rules you come out with, and we'll talk about it. Well, and then they came out with a set of rule package, and, it was like a phone book. It was that thick, and I'm like, holy cow, So I was like, yeah, I guess. So, we put a car together, and we decided to race, and then, things happened, and then we put another car together and picked up right where we left off and kept, going out there winning and being fast. And, I'm like, all right, well, guess this ain't too bad after all. So
I'm just thinking of what you were saying earlier today.
Listen, he was picked on. I'll tell you this right now. I'll tell you this right now. And he'll vouch for it. That car won. That car was fast. I'm the type of person up in the tower, even with the tech. We went, check this, and I'm only checking so far, and I maintained at the time the car's legal. And I told him, the car's legal.
Well, that would piss me off.
There was some witch hunting going on, though.
Uh-huh.
And I said, no more. You want to see what's in his car? Put the money up and look. Right. Put the money up and you can see if it's legal or not. Now, personally, I said, we looked down and made sure he had flat tops. I said right then and there. I think I even told him, I said, there ain't no doubt you're legal. You done your homework. I knew what he had. I'm not going to talk in the air, but but sometimes a group's worst enemy is themselves, and I'm not blaming Tom or Wayne. Their first year made the rules, and they were allowing some stuff that, hell, the street stocks weren't allowed to set, and Carl took advantage of a rule package when others didn't, and basically, to be honest with you, went out and spanked their ass, and that's. That
would be the doing the homework part he mentioned.
Yeah. It's just like Richard Kyle Petty said it was a while ago now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
I was going to say a few years longer than that.
2003?
It was Childress and Earnhardt, they're up here. They're working 90, 100 hours a week on researching on their cars. We're only doing this, and this.
30, 40, 50 hours a week.
Don't try to bring these guys down to us that are doing we have to step up and do the research, this, that, and the other. It's hard to look at other drivers and say, and I've said this a million times on Facebook Live, don't take your car home, park it Friday night, Saturday morning, pull it out of the trailer, wipe it off, maybe change the oil, put it back in the trailer, not do another damn thing, and get your butt whooped again Saturday and come to me, well, he's cheating. No, he's going home Sunday morning, if not Saturday night, pulling the car out of the trailer. I guarantee you Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they're doing something on the car. Mm-hmm. They're working on their car, putting it back in the trailer, coming out and waxing your ass, and now you're going to cry to me about it. I can't help you.
Well, and I brought up a point to Chris, and he'll even tell you. I said, Chris, you watch what happens in this division, because we all park right next to each other. I said, you got every one of these guys got their cars up on jack stands, working and thrashing on something. Well, I'm over here waxing my car and sitting in the chair in the trailer.
Because you did your work during the
week.
I
said, my work's already done. Wheel bearings are already repacked. Brakes are already went over, making sure bolts are tight, upper ball joints, control arms, everything. Going over the car front to back.
You're going to have this in every series. Every division, every series. You got it in yours. You're going to, have it as this grows. You got it in modifieds, you're going to have it, and unfortunately, I'm left to deal with it a little bit, but it is what it is.
All right, final question. It's the big wheel question. Who's going to win?
Wow. It's hard to say because Steven's a heck of a competitor. I watch him week in and week out.
But you're going to take him out from what I hear.
Oh, yeah. I'm
going to put him into the pole.
I ain't going to put him in the pole because he ain't never drove me wrong. But I'm definitely going to, give him a run for his money. So it's going to be a toss-up. But, I think that with my attitude, I don't want to lose. So
I'm taking the kid, man.
I know. What do you think of this, Colton?
He doesn't lose either. He gets mad when his car ain't right. He comes and hammer down on me. This ain't great. I'm not going to win.
Typical driver. Took him what? Not even a year? It ain't right.
Well, Carl, congratulations on your championship.
Thank you.
Brandon, congratulations on yours. Colton, congratulations on yours as well. Let's move on, and we're going to talk a little bit to you, not too much, because we got to wrap things up here.
Yeah, what kind of car you driving at the Hangover?
No. And don't forget,
F-150.
we have
buddy.
F-150.
coming up. We have the How Many, and a chance to win a Big D's Pizza out in Clyde.
Hey, I ran out of time. He wanted me to stop and pick a pizza up and bring one in today.
What?
I
didn't know this was a possibility. Why do you even have to tell me
Dean.
that? Now I'm disappointed.
I said I'd bring them up, and you brought them up. I forgot. Sorry, Dean. I ran out of time.
First, before we get to the Hangover race, I saw there's a new Weekend Warriors class. You know anything about that?
Cut and go. We calling it. I don't even know what the hell it's called. Yeah. It's like your Lincoln Town cars, your Crown Vics. Yeah,
Chevy Caprices.
Yeah, it basically it's just gut it out and race.
Got to weigh 5,000 pounds. Huh?
Well, 116-inch wheelbase, I believe what it is. I mean the roll package is out, but we did make them go with the racing tire though, American Racer 970 for. I've seen too many through the years. Them street tires don't hold up, especially with a big car like that going into the corner front. Right front.
Going to kill them.
Right. But we're going to try it. I know there's a few cars going to get built.
What was the reason for?
A lot of the guys in that division.
So there was interest that came to you.
Tom Hardwick and Wayne were talking about it, kicking around, and these guys started talking about it, and it's just another entry level, to be honest with you, where I think you're going to see is you got kids this age, and then you got kids my age, that now their kids
his age.
I can do this,
and their kids are grown, this, that, and the other. Now they're living their second childhood, so to speak, and might want to get into racing, and this is a good opportunity, and I think.
My dad's got a Crown Vic.
Well,
and
there's gonna be a lot of wives losing their cars.
When Wayne and Tom first started talking about this division, they said, "Well, what would you do?" I said, honestly, you figure like this: some tracks have parking lot drags where they bring the car that they drove to the track and they race it against a car. But then they're like, "Oh yeah, that was fun. We should build one." But then they don't really want to spend the money or can't spend the money to invest in something that's, $2, $3, $4, $10,000. So if you get a car like that, I mean, you're talking maybe $300 to $600, and you can race.
Yeah, you top of the line with the cage and everything, because safety requirement. You're going to have about $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, give or take, wrapped up into this, and it's a cheap way to go.
Did you know that Ron Miller Race Cars builds roll cages?
There you go.
Give him a call.
There's a sponsor right there.
734-856-7223.
Yeah.
If you need a roll cage.
Race cars.
Now, did you hear that Bear Field announced a new class? It sounds very similar. Road Warrior class.
No.
I think that's Road Runner class, something like that. But it's something very similar. But one of the rules they have, and I'm wondering if you have this rule, is that you can't haul the car there in an enclosed trailer. It has to be an open trailer. That's actually in their rules.
Rule, though. I think that's a great rule. And I think that's one of the things that, I get the enclosed trailers, don't get me wrong.
They're nice.
You got a car like Ron's or,
They just don't want to be in the weather.
Well, that's, I get that.
Well, then why do you bring them to the Hangover race?
That's different. And I get that. But, I remember Pat Chulik and these guys that ran Supers back in the day. Pat Chulik and these guys, they pull into the super modified and open trailer. These guys, kids see that. And I think that's a great idea.
But that's not a rule as of yet.
No, not for us.
What? Since you said that, that just brings me to something I was thinking about earlier. Is I've been going to Sandusky since I was 6 months old. You know what I mean? And my aunt used to work with Pat Schulich at Ford, so we used to hang out with them in the pits and go to George's garage out there in Vermilion and stuff. And we used to follow Dee Dee Hall and Linda Landers and Jerry Owens down 90 to go to Sandusky. And I used to go, Mom, there's Linda Landers and there's Jerry Owens, and and we'd follow them down the road.
Never would have known that if you had an enclosed trailer.
It could be just lawnmowers.
And I get the enclosed trailer thing. Don't get me wrong. I would never tell a person. I mean, that's a good rule that he's got, but I don't think I would tell these guys, hey, you got to have an open trailer, you can't come. I mean, I don't care if it comes in an airplane or, a helicopter, as long as
or they drive
it's
it
racing.
in.
Yeah, I don't care if they
Take the
drive
place
it in,
off.
as long as it's racing. That's what I want the cars.
So let's talk about the Hangover race. Go ahead, give the details.
Yeah, I'm gonna screw that up. Probably I already did last night.
New Year's Day.
Yeah, 45th.
45th.
Hangover race, New Year's Day. I believe the gates open at
9 o'clock.
9 in the back gate.
Hot laps are 11.
11 on the front gate with hot laps, and we start racing at 1. We got 3 divisions we were on. It's champagne stock, which is your dirt late models, your modifieds, the big cars.
Whatever you want to race.
Yeah.
Run what you brung.
Run what you brung and hope you brung enough. And then we moved to moonshine stocks, which would be your pure stocks, 2 barrels. You guys.
Speaking of which, can I unhook my?
You can unplug them. Yeah, unhook them. Just as long as you run 2 barrels. And there's some more restrictions. There's more street stock, pure stock, and the whiskey stock, which is your front wheel drive cars. And it's pretty open rule there. I mean, the Midwest cars can show up if they wanted and run against that. So. Somebody asked me last night, I was on the Midwest Compact Tours Facebook Live they did, and they asked me what's one of the unique things that you've liked and one of the things you like, and I actually brought you up, Ron. I says, what's cool as hell, and if you've never been there and you're an asphalt fan and show up to the Hangover race, what's cool as hell is when them dirt late models come out there and they got the big side panel. And what do you mean? You talk to people, well, you got to come, and then they're, cars all jacked out of shape and everything,
11 inches of stagger.
Right. You know what I mean? And it just, it's a fun race.
Yeah.
There's nothing, everybody comes to win, don't get me wrong. But there's not the tenseness, there's not the points. I hate points.
It's just for fun.
It's just for fun. It's a fun race. There's not a big payout, It's not a big,
not going to make enough to retire on.
No, it's not a big money show, nothing like that. You can expect to get hit with a snowball if you don't have
Hopefully
to drive.
we get some snow.
Only under caution.
Under caution only.
Well, there's those guys I always see every year in the stands that bring in a tub of snow.
Well, they're from the east side of Cleveland in the snow belt, and they bring their coolers.
So
with
it's
the
actual
snow.
real snow?
It's real
Okay.
snow, yeah.
Nice.
And so it's more of a fun day, a fun race. I think, I don't know.
What?
Larry Bose is involved in the
I
beginning
believe he
of
started
that.
from what I read.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's
79, I think, is either that's when it started or that's when the idea came
Yeah, I
out.
can remember running that damn thing in 2 foot of snow. We'd
Yeah.
plow the track off, but
I
Ron-
remember Wide World of Sports showing it on TV.
Oh yeah,
I remember my very first race ever in a race car. I totaled my car at the Hangover race.
My very first
you
race
gotta-
was
I
in the
gotta work
Hangover
hard to
race,
do that.
but I didn't total it.
I bought Bill Blackburn's car, and I think it was 96 or 97, and I had Joe Pugh and Wayne Sweeney helping me, and I said, I don't even know what I'm doing. So I went out there, and everybody's looking, and I come back in and said, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know. I think I was going fast. And it's like, you really weren't. So Joe Pugh gets in my car, and he's out there pushing this guy in this modified around. I'm like, that car's actually fast. I'm like, I could do that. In the heat race, we get a green, and I was like, well, there ain't nobody here. So I went 3 wide, went into turns 1 and 2, and I went sideways, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then there was a caution. I'm like, oh, I did good. I went from like 8th to 3rd in like half a lap. I can do this. Now, it didn't work so well the next time I tried because I got loose and I didn't know what to do. So I overcorrected and stuffed it nose first into the wall, kicked the motor sideways under the engine compartment, broke the tail shaft off the trans, the nose off the rear end, and bowed the drive shaft. Broke both
impressive.
collarbones. I'm like, wow.
Jeez.
that happened to
Yeah.
Al Dennis. Remember Al Dennis?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my brother's father-in-law.
Okay.
Halcomb down there, Al.
We had
Take it
bias ply
easy.
tires with white walls on it.
Are you racing the Hangover race this year?
No, actually, this year I'm not. I'm going to help Bob Young because he bought a new car and he wants to go and try it out. So I told him I'd help him, and
Bob running a Hangover?
yeah, I'm going to go help him fix his clutch this week so he can run it.
Another question for racers, because they asked me this. I actually haven't got asked this yet this year, but I'm sure somebody wants to know. As far as the moonshine stocks, are you allowing little bit sideboards on there.
Yeah, I can't remember what I allowed last year, to be honest with you.
Here's the deal on that, Scott. Because
Apparently he knows.
Who knows?
Yeah.
we talked about it last year. You can have a 2-foot by 4-foot board
That sounds right.
on the back of the car, or if you want to put a sprint car wing up on the top.
Right.
But you can't if you've got the sprint car
But not
wing.
like your sideboard on the late model.
No.
Okay.
It's just you can run the wing on the top or the board. It's an
sideboard.
either or
Gotcha.
thing.
Yeah, you can't run both, and this debate got in, and that's why I looked at him. So what was it? Because we talked about it several times last year to get it.
Well, if it snows and it's icy, that board's not going to
Ain't happening.
Yeah,
The wing ain't. I mean,
not going to help much. I don't think you're going to go fast enough for.
man, I tell you the honest God truth. I'd love to see about 6 inches of snow the night before we plowed off, and it's all.
That's okay too.
Oh, they love that shit.
I can do that.
It reminds me of the cavalcade. A couple years ago, started raining dirt trucks. Hey, bring dirt truck. Oh, we love this. They were all happy sideways.
So fans that don't know about the Hangover race, it's running any weather.
It's running
snow,
any weather.
rain, whatever's happening, unless
it's like 15 below wind chill.
Yeah, it's the only time it was ever postponed was 2 years ago, and it would just
It took
couldn't.
2 or 3 weeks to get it in.
And then the creek flooded on the rescheduled date.
Yep. And we normally run it no matter what weather. It doesn't matter. You could have blizzard, but we got in the point 2 years ago where liabilities of the world and everything. It was 5-7 degrees. Calling for it. We made a decision to postpone it and hell the wind chills were down 20, 25 below.
Yeah. For those of us with dirt cars without a windshield,
Yeah.
that's cold.
Right, well,
I mean, even with a street stock with no side windows, it's still cold.
Right. Well, you look at sitting in the grandstands, and you're not moving, the wind chills. It wasn't so much, you're not going to get a crowd is why. No, if we had 100 people, I'd be worried to death that 100 people in the next half hour, 40 minutes are going to get some kind of frostbite or. So we postponed it, and sure as hell, man, it went down. We called it again, and we got kind of lucky.
You got it in.
Yeah, it took us. We ran that, and 2 weeks later we did that Valentine's Day race.
Yeah, it was the 14th or something.
Yeah. Is that ever going to happen again, or was that just a one-time?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
It isn't going to happen this year.
Show up at the racetrack in 2 weeks. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Well, that's how that kind of came up, wasn't it?
Him.
Was it him again?
He was the one that started that.
Man.
Wow. And you keep listening to him.
No, what did you say? We ought to do it. What was it you or somebody said we ought to run a Valentine's Day race? And okay. So we did okay on that. I mean,
it wasn't too cold though. I mean, it was decent.
We only promoted it from
January 1st on.
It wasn't even January 1st.
No, it was like
January,
that's
right. You're right.
It was like the 14th or the 17th or something.
Yeah, we had like 2-3 weeks, and
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
It could happen.
Yeah,
who knows?
It's possible.
I mean, if you get right down to it, other tracks are starting to run these, novelty events in the winter and stuff, and that's fine. Hey, listen, someone wants to run the first, as long as they ain't around here, Sandusky.
Well, actually,
the invitation's flat. There's a place in Michigan. It's doing. I don't know which one.
Mid Michigan.
Onaway.
No,
Michigan hasn't posted anything on their whiteout race,
and that's usually later. Anyway.
There's a place that's doing it January 1st. Drew brought it up last night in the Midwest, and hey, invitation's flattery. I mean, we tried to do it at Mansfield one time, called it the Icebreaker. I don't think we're on an exact day, whatever, but sometimes you hit a home run, sometimes you don't. You got to try. I get this. Track's got to try everything they can right now to make something to do.
Well, this has been something that's been going on 45 years. So I mean,
it's like High Miler Nationals.
It's a tradition at this point.
It's you come to High Miler. The race. No, we're not having a race. We're having an event.
Yeah.
This is an event, a proven event for 40 years. It's the same thing with the Hangover race.
It's like the Super Bowl of racing around here.
Yeah. The Hangover, and he's won 14 times, so he comes. He
likes that race.
He's like Ric
the
Flair.
thing of it is how many dirt late models are coming in now? It's
half a dozen at least this year.
Yeah, so you get 6-7 of them. On a good day, you might get a couple modified guys come out. We get 10. If we get 12 cars in that division. I'm happy, and it's fun to watch.
And it's fun to watch the
It's
asphalt
fun to
guys
watch.
and the dirt guys
and
racing
there
each
are
other.
some of the cars from the two-barrel class that double enter, and
Yeah.
they're more than welcome to do
Yeah,
that. And the closing rate is really crazy when you're
I
running-
did that, and
when you're
bad
run-
things happened.
when you're running
Yeah,
5,
you
6
did,
seconds
didn't
faster.
I ripped the side off your son's car because I thought I could get back by you after you blew by me.
Yeah,
And
whatever.
then went high in the corner. Anyways, no, I was reading.
I can catch you, Ron.
Larry Bose actually came up with this race as I was reading the Sandusky Speedway history.
Yeah.
kit,
And some beer
because
was
he wanted,
involved.
He wanted to have the first race of the season,
Right.
Yeah.
and that was how
Right.
it started. And it's the first race of the season.
Yeah, and look where he's at now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Larry Bose's a hell of a promoter.
And it's
man.
a fun race, even if you're just a fan. You're not coming out to race.
You're coming out to throw snowballs.
Yeah, and that's how I started. Now, before I had a car, I was coming out watching, throwing snowballs.
Yeah.
And the racing is fun to watch.
Yeah, you know what? I tell you, honestly, it is. It's kind of funny because I always say you could have Einstein come out to a racetrack and have a race car. What he does is he takes his hat off, he opens the truck door, throws his hat in there, takes his brains out, throws them in there, and then puts a helmet on and goes out and runs. And even though this is a fun race, the competitiveness, it's in the blood of the race car guy.
Oh, yeah.
We're just out having fun, and they get on the track and it's all out, just like last year. I mean, his son beat him. I don't care what he says, he was pissed. He was pissed he lost the race, but that's
And the
good.
weather can be a big equalizer
Yeah,
depending
yeah.
on what happens on New Year's
So
Day.
you're going to see good racing. It don't matter, especially when you get down in this front-wheel drive class. These guys, they're the same thing. I mean, they got, if they go out there to race and they don't have win on their mind, they probably shouldn't be out there,
And it's fun watching the front wheel drive guys because there's a lot of the dirt ones
Oh, yeah.
and the
You get
regulars
the mix.
out there.
You get
that-
the mix.
Yeah.
And with the weather the way it is, the failures that you see, and you try to
yeah.
plan out things, because like last year I talked to Matt Wilson because he finished second in his heat and I won mine, so I was starting outside pole. I said, if you can, Matt, I'm going to try to pinch the guy down and I'm going to take off. And then next thing you know, we go out there for the parade lap and the guy's fuel pump breaks. So that put me on the inside, Matt on the outside. So what do you do? The same thing I told him I was going to do
Yeah.
to that guy. I was like, man, and that's all the water. So I stomp on the gas and spin around. I'm like, that didn't work so well.
I've been,
So, yeah,
I've been
the
watching.
failures.
I've been
It's-
watching the extended forecast, and we're in that 10-day window right now. So
I'll talk to Ryan Weekman
so
and get a
they've
forecast.
got
for
an
you.
idea, and I'm not seeing any precipitation until January 3rd.
Yeah, that's
I
going
don't
to change.
know.
It'll
It's northern Ohio and
On Lake Erie.
That big thing's right there. The right wind switch. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can get dumped on. But
Chris will tell you. I mean, he's been at Sandusky long enough to know it'll say you got 10% chance of rain. When you get to the track, there's 100%
Yeah.
chance of rain.
Yeah.
This is raining. But when you leave your house, it says there's 100% chance of rain. You get to Sandusky and there's nothing. It's like sunny,
yeah.
blue skies. I'm like, what
I've
happened
watched
here?
it split us.
So the Hangover race, January 1st, New Year's Day. Gates open at 9, hot laps at 11, racing at 1 p.m.
Yes.
And general admission, I believe,
$12.
is just $12 to come. And there's going to be hot chocolate, and there's
chocolate,
the,
hot
the
dog.
bar's heated, right?
Ish.
Kinda.
It's
Yeah.
warmer than sitting on the stands.
Oh,
if it
yeah,
is
we're
cold.
selling beer.
There you go.
Yeah,
there's
after
ways to
about
keep
5,
warm.
6 of them, you're fine.
There's
Now,
ways to keep
any of the
warm.
racers that are coming, are you going to have receivers working this year?
Yes. I don't know that frequency, so I know there's somebody listening out
Somebody
there.
will write it on the board.
Somebody will write it on the board. Yeah, we're running. It doesn't. It's kind of funny because you say that we're running a race. We'll write it on the board. You guys all.
Is it the
almost
same
scanners.
frequency as last year?
Yeah, it was same as we normally. run.
4, 6, 3.
Yeah, my
It's
scanners.
not the
6, 2,
default.
5.
I forgot my batteries. My batteries died. I don't know what happened.
I had to
it.
figure out how to change the frequency of my last year.
It's kind of funny. I get that weekly. Oh, my batteries died. No, you just didn't want to hear me bitching in your ears. What the problem was?
Or you get that radio, wow, wow, so you shut it
Yeah,
off.
yeah. I got an issue.
I was
with
yelling
that.
and shouting on the radio. Well, you didn't hear what I was hearing for 15 laps. Wow, wow, so I shut it off.
All right, well, let's move on and wrap things up here.
Pick.
It's getting a little bit late. We play How Many. We do this every week on the show. We pick something, guess what the number is going to be. Our
Stop.
listeners online can play along by leaving a comment in the
I want to
Facebook
go back to the
Live
Hangover race for just a second.
comments.
Did you listen to last week's show at all?
No,
what
still
happened on
work.
last week's
Okay.
show.
Towards the end of the show, we had a mystery caller call in.
Oh,
Who was it?
C.J. Rayburn. Rusty Schlenk actually was at the PRI show, and C.J. invited Rusty to come down and stay at his place. And they put C.J. on the phone, and I got a call midweek that C.J. is seriously thinking about
right.
coming to the Hangover race.
Oh, I'd love it.
He's still got his outlaw car.
Tell him come up and run it.
And I strongly encouraged him to come down.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Then we got Fuel Guy
Yes, Craig Dittman.
Craig Dittman. That's right. I forgot about
It's
that.
going to have
parts and fuel.
Parts, fuel. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's...
Yeah, I was talking to Jamie last night at your place. He said he's going to come out and help him.
Cool.
He's like, I guess I got to come out there and help him.
Tell him bring some Carhartts.
All right, let's play how many. We already
Jamie's big enough that he's got plenty of insulation.
we already have a how many guess.
I'm sorry.
From my brother, and
He looked right at both of them. That's something.
he doesn't even know what the how many is for this week, but he's already got a guess. It's 5.
Okay.
It could happen. I don't
Five's
think
a good
so.
number.
Here's
Just saying.
well, let's talk about last week's how many. Last week's how many minutes was the show going to be last week?
Yeah.
It ended up being 85 minutes.
Yeah.
And we're actually over that already this week. But this is the last show of 2019, so we can do whatever the hell we want. Where to go? Oh, so I was the winner because I said 84. I think you said 83. So,
That's not right.
So, and our online winner was Dustin Gearhart, who guessed 81 minutes.
All right.
So congratulations to Dustin. He can hook himself up with Dean Henry, or those two can talk, and he can get that Big D's pizza. This week's how many has to do with the Hangover race. And it's not really a how many, it's more of a what position is Ron Miller going to finish in the Champagne Stock feature event? And this could be a DNS all the way to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many cars.
Ooh.
So
Well, see,
you get to think about that. We'll start with Chris over here.
Let me lay a little groundwork because I'm not going to have the green machine this year.
Oh, you're not running the Outlaw?
No, the green machine's not there. I'm going to have my normal dirt late model
I pick him for one.
with a pretty significant sideboard.
I've picked him for one. He's still bitter about last year, dude. I'm telling you, he's still pissed off about last year.
All right.
There's a father and son competition, huh?
Because
Yeah.
Steve was the winner, major upset last year at the Hangover race.
Mama's not thrilled about this at all.
All right, where do you think he's going to finish?
First.
All right,
You got to pick a different number.
Third.
Okay, that's better. He skipped over second, going straight to third for you.
I'll take second.
He'll take. All right, Brandon will take second. What do you got, Carl?
I think he's going to take 6th.
There you go.
Ooh.
Only because I think that there's going to be a significant amount of cars, and with hard racing,
Well, something could
failures
break.
can happen.
You've had things break
Yeah,
before and had bad finish.
One year I stripped out a drive flange and had only left rear wheel driving and finished third.
Uh-huh. You want to play too? What? 5. 5. Okay.
5.
what's your pick?
All right, well, we'll go to Kathy. We're leaving him. He's going to have to pick himself pretty deep.
Well,
Their 4th is still available.
I'll take it.
Okay. So you got 4th. So
Go ahead, Scott.
I'm going to say 7th then.
7th.
Yeah, I'm going 7th.
I'm thinking that there's going to be...
And you control your destiny. So
I'm thinking there's going to be 14 cars in that class, and I'm going with the worst-case scenario.
14?
going 14.
Yeah, something breaks.
He's going. You
Here,
see,
watch him. Watch him.
He's going to
White
sandbag.
flag, the white flag come out, and he'll be in first place.
Yeah, he's just going to
pull
stop.
Nope, ain't happening, Chris.
What the hell you doing? I said I was going to be 14.
And you're going to win absolutely nothing other than
The first place trailer home.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So you can play along online. Again, just put your guess in the comments. And if somebody else guesses the same number, whoever guessed it first will get credit for the win. And we'll find out who the winner is
Yeah.
in 2 weeks on January 2nd when we return with our next live show. Because we're off next week for the holidays. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Lima Land champions will be in
2 weeks.
January 2nd.
On the 2nd?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got Tony Anderson confirmed. Jerry Keyser actually is
Oh, all
going
right.
to join us as well, Lima Land announcer. he'll have some insight in that.
Yeah.
I'm still working on Todd Sherman. I haven't got
Okay.
confirmation on him.
Have we got time for my favorite hangover race story?
Sure. Let me thank our associate producer Dave Kemmer for helping out with some of the news tonight, and I'm done. So it's all
Okay.
you.
Cool.
And congratulations again to all you guys, and thank you guys for coming.
Chris,
in.
I don't know if you were
Thank you for having us.
there when Ronnie Schultz was racing or not. Ronnie is a dedicated racer. He hasn't raced in a few years now, but he was an aspiring professional bowler, was at a major tournament in Chicago, had like $3 in his pocket, and somebody robbed him, shot him in the back, and they told him that he'd never walk. And he walked with a noticeable limp, and one hand was pretty atrophied, but he was a racer, and he was a darn good racer. And at the Hangover race, actually, one year he flipped it out of the ballpark into the tire barriers off of turn 4, but committed to come back the next year. And I believe that was the first year that we built anything with a sideboard. And we had pretty significant board on his car, and he was fast. But because his hands are a little crippled up from being shot in the back, the first or second lap he went to pull a tear off, and he pulled them all. And then like a lap later, his shield all got splattered up, so he soldiered on the rest of the race with his shield up, and went on to win the race, but he couldn't get out of the car. What happened was the rubber from the tires and dirt and everything with his shield up landed in his eyes. He couldn't get out of the car, so a friend of his and I grabbed him by the shoulders, lifted him up, set him on the top of the car. They did the post-race interview on top of the car, and from there they took him straight to the hospital where they flushed out his eyes.
Flushed out his eyes.
But what an absolute story. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. It was so cool.
Oh, probably not. I mean, there's... While we're talking about that kind of stuff real quick, Scott, I do want to thank all our service members, military, serving overseas, homeland. You know, without you guys protecting us, we wouldn't be able to enjoy our Christmas like it is coming up.
Amen to that.
All our veterans, without you guys, we wouldn't be sitting in a room like this. People, listen, you go to McDonald's, you spend $15-20 like it's nothing. We got homeless vets out in the streets right now. It's cold out. It's cold out in the streets. You see a homeless vet, give him $10-20 so at least he can go get a hot meal. You know, these guys didn't have any problem going over and putting their butts on the line so we can do what we love with racing and coming to this show. So all the military serving overseas, all the police, fire, first responders, we want to thank you guys and you know, hope you all have a good Christmas.
Any active military vets show up at the Hangover race, show your credentials, and I'll see that you get in for free.
Yeah, we'll take care of you. We will take care of you. So
Sounds good.
I'd like to say the same thing as on Chris. You know, thank you to all the military people. My brother served. I think he's listening. So I wanted to say thank you to that, and I've had a cousin serve. Thank you guys for your service, and I didn't get to thank some sponsors.
Jump right in on that.
I want to thank R&R Remodeling and Renovations. James McKay, he jumped on board this year. My SR Racing teammates, Dan Smith, Brad Smith, Trent, Little T, Tanner, and everybody who's helped out, and my family. And I want to say hi to my little nieces, Aubrey and Autumn, because they're listening, hopefully, and tell them I said hi, and just everybody who supports me. Thank you to Chris and Kevin for everything, and they do, and just have a Merry Christmas and a good New Year. And thank you guys for having me.
Any last words from Colton?
Thanks to all my sponsors. Ohio Tire.
Uh-oh.
Grandpa.
Yeah,
T-
manual transmission. Hyman's, I think. Hyman's. Yeah. Thanks,
We're
Tom.
still looking for more. We're going to build
Yeah.
another car.
Oh, I also forgot John Booter at Middle Ridge Car Clinic. And I'd also like to say thanks to Chris, Kevin, and all the people at Sandusky Speedway for putting up with our crap week in and week out, and making it possible for us to even have a place to race. You know, too many tracks around here closing down and not supporting each other and working together. And you know, some of the tracks are where they are for a reason. So I'm glad that they've gutted it out when times got tough to give us a place to race. So thank all you guys at Sandusky Speedway. We appreciate it.
All right, good. Since everybody else forgot something, I forgot to ask you something.
Uh-oh.
Any chance of a Dirty 30 next year?
Absolutely.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
We'll sit down and talk at the Hangover.
Okay. Just so it's got the same possibility as a Valentine's race?
I think that's got a better one.
Oh.
The Dirty 30. I think that's a home run. I ran them dirt late models on asphalt down in Valdosta, Georgia. I know what they can do, and I know what kind of show it is. So we'll talk Hangover.
Start working earlier on it this year.
Yeah, we will talk at the Hangover.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate everything.
Thanks
you
for
do.
having us. Definitely.
We appreciate guys being here and putting on a show every week.
And we'll be out at Sandusky Speedway on the 1st. Because
January 1st.
I'm planning on racing. You're racing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not doing a show. We're just
No, the car's in the can.
We're gonna
Right?
go
Mine's
play.
in the can, ready to go, man.
Mine is not ready to go. I'm still putting lights up in my garage
Oh.
so I can get the car ready to go.
Well, that's okay.
I'm working on it. I got a couple weekends.
Extra
Wait.
coat of wax,
There
Scott.
we
You'll be
go.
good.
I got 2 weekends.
I got
exactly.
plenty of that.
So we'll be back live again 2 weeks from tonight, January 2nd. We're off next week. Yeah, that's it. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's get out of here.
In case I miss it, Merry Christmas, Barb.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
All of you.
And happy Hanukkah and all the
Kwanzaa
other
and
stuff.
all that
yeah,
stuff.
all that
Yeah.
good stuff. Yeah. All right. We're out.
Go
You
Trump.
have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio. Listen on demand on iHeartRadio.